back at the beach. Butler back in Miami for the first time since he was traded to Golden State, making his way in the building, seeing old friends, and here's how his old fans welcomed him back. Sounded like more cheers than boos. Meanwhile, that would be the high point of the night for Jimmy Butler. Here is Bam Adebayo putting the Bam in Adebayo, throwing it down. He had 27 last night. He jumped out to an early lead and really never looked back. And Bobby, Jimmy Butler had a very tough night all around.
It looked like the last game we saw Jimmy Butler in a Heat uniform, nondescript, with a whimper. 2
points, 1 of 6 in the first half. Miami had a 17-point halftime lead, and then Carlos Boozer. This game is completely out of it, but look at how does he score on this play? Someone explain that one to me.
Great touch right there. This could have had a hell of a game last night.
Yeah, he throws it up and it gets it to go, somehow loses it and gets it back. Butler, in the meantime, had 11 points in his return, and they were never in this game. Heat win at 112-86. Here was Jimmy after the action.
I mean, this was a huge part of my career. So I continue to say that I'm very grateful, and I ain't spiteful for it towards nobody. Like I always say, I'm grateful for the opportunity, love the fan base. It's not bad. It's not all bad.
All right, Booze, what is the first thing we want to say about Jimmy Butler's game last night?
I think the Heat took this game personal, and in particular, Bam Adebayo did a great job defensively. They were all over the place. Bam was aggressive from the beginning, had 27 points, 8 rebounds, did a fantastic job guarding Jimmy. I think they wanted to show this is Heat culture. They held the Warriors to 86 points last night. Outstanding message from the Miami Heat.
When Jimmy Butler sort of questioned the idea that there really is such a thing as Heat culture, you think that bothered them?
I think they took that personal in that locker room. They came in that locker room and was like, we are not going to lose this game. We're going to win this game, and we're going to show what Heat culture is.
And perhaps they did a little bit of that. How about it, Jay? How about what we saw from Butler last night against the Heat?
Greeny, my biggest takeaway would be that Jimmy Butler definitely walked away with the L, but more importantly, he walked away with full custody of the Miami Heat. I mean, he won the divorce, regardless of whether they won or lost the game. And in that divorce, he got the house, he got the keys, and he left Pat Riley with the couch. I mean, that's the reality of this game, regardless of the outcome of it, right? There's nothing that can really happen that can make Jimmy Butler have a bad day. They're fighting for the 6th, 5th, or 4th spot in the Western Conference. The Miami Heat is still in the play-in position that they were in when he was there. They're still in that 10th seed position. They're still fighting for it. So regardless of a poor performance or them not having Steph Curry, every time Jimmy Butler looked over to the sideline and saw Steph Curry and knew what his team had a chance to fight for, he's going to feel good walking away from this situation.
At the end of the day, he got what he wanted out of all of this, and we'll see. In the meantime, Bobby, you made an observation. We played you the reception that Butler got in Miami last night. You had an observation about that.
I did. I want to be careful how I say this because I do have to fly home to Florida today. I don't want them not allowing me in the state. I was embarrassed last night. I was embarrassed watching that and looking at what the Heat fans did to give a man who quit on you. He quit on them at the end of the year, at the middle of the year. He quit on them because he didn't get paid by the Miami Heat. And I know he took you to 2 NBA finals and everything he did great for you, but to give that man a standing ovation, even if it was 50% of that, that bothered me dearly.
Really?
As far as that. It really did. And I would have done the video tribute. I still would have done it of the Heat organization, but and Steve Kerr said it after. Basically, it was like almost like fair-weathered fans who were like, "Oh, it's okay." You know, guy quit on you at the in the middle of the year. You know, he went to Golden State. He got his money, right? He got his $111 million.
Right.
And now this is what we're left with. Mm-hmm. And before tonight, the reality was the Miami Heat were a nondescript, vanilla team with no identity. Mm-hmm. And you saw Jimmy Butler finally bring out the identity, whether it be with Bam Adebayo and Khalil Ware, the two bigs. The ability to shoot the ball. They couldn't make a basket in their last 10 games. Mm-hmm. And that just kind of irked me last night.
What do you think of that, Booze? I mean, you've lived this a little bit, right? Going from one place to another, the reaction when you came back the first time and everything. What did you make of the way the Miami fans handled that return last night?
I mean, it was probably part so because he brought them to 2 NBA finals, and they weren't expected to be there. Nobody had them in the NBA finals, but they got there, even though they lost those finals. he overachieved with that team in Miami, in my opinion. They didn't have the one superstar that can get them over the hump, but at the same time, it was a divorce, like JWill said, and maybe it didn't go the way the fans wanted it to. So you have mixed emotions. I've been there before.
Okay, let's leave that there for the moment. I do want to re-explore that a little, but let me run the floor because we have a bunch of other stuff from the NBA last night. JWill, SGA scored 32 points. OKC beat the Kings by 16. You got the Thunder or the Field in the Western Conference?
Greeny, I'm going with the OKC Thunder. It's just their versatility that they have defensively. They're a team that can best match up with the Boston Celtics. I don't think there are a lot of teams in the Western Conference that have all the chess pieces that OKC does.
Bobby, let's stay in the West because one of the teams we never talk about out there is Houston. Jalen Green had 32 and a win over the Hawks, including a monster dunk. They're 2 games ahead of Denver for the 2 seed. Are they contenders?
They are 9-1 in their last 10 games, and nobody's talking about them because they're so young. And young in the playoffs is pretty dangerous.
Right.
They go either way here. So I would certainly put Houston right up there with any of these teams.
Meaning if we're looking for
Western Conference Finals.
Understood. Western Conference Finals. And then Booze, you had Josh Hart and Karl Anthony Towns with triple doubles as the Knicks beat the Mavericks last night. OG Anunoby chipped in with 35. If the Knicks get Jalen Brunson back healthy, I ask this on behalf of every Knicks fan that I hear from in the streets as I walk around all the time. Can they beat Boston in a second-round matchup?
No, they cannot. Boston's too deep. They got 3D guys. They got their depth is outstanding. They got guys that can knock down the three. They can guard their yard, and they help each other defensively. Boston's a favorite coming out the Eastern Conference.
They are the favorite. You give the Knicks, on a scale of 1 to 10, 5?
6 games.
They could go 6 games.
6 games.
Okay, 6 games.
Best case scenario, 6 games.
That's not the scale I was looking for. Look at JWill. Look at JWill's face. All right, we have to come back to that. I got to run. We have much more coming up on that as we go. Plus, we head out west. Luka, LeBron, the Hollywood honeymoon. Is it over? Are the Lakers in danger of being in the play-in? We'll get to that. And back to the football. J.J. McCarthy said a really interesting thing. So much so that without meaning to, we may have changed everything we think we know about the current quarterback carousel. You'll hear why as we roll on. We are jam-packed this morning, people. It's Get Up on ESPN.
Chào mừng các bạn đã quay trở lại với kênh YouTube của mình. Video ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục đi tô màu để gửi tặng đến các bạn. Và mình rất mong rằng các bạn luôn ủng hộ mình và đi sát cạnh kênh của mình để ủng hộ mình. Ngày hôm nay để làm được video tô màu, mình cần chuẩn bị những dụng cụ như sau. Đây là những sản phẩm in sẵn mình dùng để tô màu. Đây là những sản phẩm về con vật. Đây là những sản phẩm về con vật. Và vẫn như thường lệ, đây là mình sẽ dùng chân kẹp điện thoại. Đây là điện thoại để mình quay lại video, quay lại quá trình mình làm. Và đây là bút sáp màu. Đây là bút sáp màu. Các bạn hãy nhớ like và đăng ký kênh để ủng hộ mình nhé. Mình cảm ơn các bạn rất là nhiều.
Đi từ đây vào đấy phun núi. Chả hiểu núi đâu ra. Đợt đấy em đi em định để bảo bác Tài ơi, dừng xuống. Đúng đoạn cao tốc nhưng mà bảo bác Tài dừng xuống này con rocket phát đi chụp ảnh phát. Nhiều núi nhìn đẹp quá. Đang định bảo nhưng mà đường cao tốc mà. Chờ xem chị kết quả của chị nào. Tuần sau giảm không?
Hả?
Từ giờ đến tuần sau hay là từ giờ đến thế nào ấy?
Từ giờ đến tuần sau. Chắc chắn là sẽ tụt cân nhưng mà chị không nghĩ là nó sẽ tròn 2 cân.
1 cân rưỡi phải bắt phải khao. Bà làm môi thì có tiền khao.